Introduce within the Prashant is somebody who loves life, and every moment of it. And he's got a couple of friends also here to listen to him today. Prashant is a postgraduate in marketing and also did his MBA from Symbiosis. Studied physics from Punjab University, and is one of the early members, or I can say co-founders of JobsAhead.com. One of the guys who, when the .com revolution started, and presently he is running his own venture which is doing very well, spread all across the nation, by the name Plug HR. So it's a plug and play HR services which they are providing, and I'm also very happy to say that they've done a very good job in a very short time by having some key accounts. So it won't take much time, it's not my talk, and over to Prashant, please.
Things, my Chandigarh connect is strong because I spent, I think, the most wonderful years of my life in Chandigarh. I came in the city when I had passed my 10th class, so 11th it started journey here. I studied at DAV college in sector 10. It used to be only men's college at that time. And then after 12th, I realized I had a lot of interest in physics. I went to university, did my honors program in physics. After 3 years, I thought I had studied enough of physics, and whatever I hadn't, I had found a way to continue on my own. So that's where I developed interest in management. Worked with Hutchison for about 1.5 years. And then realized that it's good to pick up management education as well. That's what I went to did MBA in marketing. Worked again in telecom because I had started in telecom. It was a quick, easy entry. So I joined BPL Mobile. Worked again with there for about a year when the internet thing happened. All my friends were talking about internet, the whole country was talking internet. And so that's how JobsAhead, came by. It was a job site. We were competing with Naukri.com that you might be familiar with now. We ran that business for about 4.5-5 years. In 2004 May, we sold the business to Monster. So Monster had entered India. We competed in the same market space for about 2 years, and then they bought us out. So we exited in 2004. I was wondering at that time what next, and I recalled my experiences with dealing with HR departments because when I was with JobsAhead, my customer was HR. HR was also a buyer of our service. HR was also the user of our service. So I had a lot to do with interacting with them. So I noticed a couple of interesting things. One was that every time I used to go for a renewal of service, I used to meet a different HR team than the one who had bought last year. And I found it enough. That gave me a sense that HR people normally looks like change job every year. Now with that data point, I looked up to an entrepreneur. I said, let me see what entrepreneur is talking about. Every time I met an entrepreneurs used to talk about great growth plans. They'll talk about building great organizations, building culture, training, this and that. There was an instant I remember when I was talking to one entrepreneur, and he was telling me how his 50 people company is going to become 250 people company in about next 18 months, 20 months time. And of course, blueprint of growth, all that great plans. I came out, and the HR guy was also known to me, so I went to meet the HR guy. HR guy had his resume ready. He asked me, is there a good opportunity you know about? And I thought that, I had just heard a full, vision of how the organization is going to build on HR, next 18 months. So of course I used to not offer HR guys jobs, but yeah, that guy anyway left in about a month, 2 months time. And next time I met the entrepreneur, he told me the same plan again, right? But it had not moved. It was still there. he was still looking for HR guy. So that was basically the disconnect I saw. That entrepreneurs had their own plans, HR had its own plans, and these two plans were different. So it looked like a crying need, where entrepreneur was saying, is there an easy way to handle this HR thing? One, entrepreneur themselves are not HR professionals. A lot of times they are not even people professionals in that sense. They come with a very high functional side. So somebody is an IT expert, somebody is a food expert, somebody is a distribution expert, whatever. Right? And then when they start with first few months, years is different, because that's where you utilize your core competency, you deal with customer directly and things are fine. And you are suddenly 20-25 people because your customer is happy with your product or service, and that's where the problem begins. And now you can't be doing deliveries all the time. You have more than 20-25 people. You have to make them do things. Now how do you do that? So that's largely the So people management is actually an entrepreneur's Waterloo. And that's where most of the businesses which are stuck and which are not scaling, there is almost 80% chance that it is because of people management issues. If they want to grow, so if 500 clients are willing to buy a product, I'm sure 5 million can buy a product. Right? So your concept has been tested. If it is not going to 5 million, there's a high chance that you can't find those 50 people who will take it to 5 million. Right? You have those 5, 3 of them might be your relatives, 2 more somebody but that's the challenge. So scaling business is a different game than setting up business. Setting up business is founder's game. Scaling business is a manager's game. Right? And that is the big, I think, lesson on scaling, which I learned over a period of time through my interaction and all that. So what Plug HR does is we set up and run HR department. And we went back to the entrepreneur and said, HR is not your business. You have not set up business because you wanted to run an HR department. So why are you struggling to set one in the first place? Set up a Plug HR department. Sign up. Your HR department would be a Plug HR department. Then I'll worry about who will be your head of HR, who will use, what tools will you use, etc. What is your business plan, how to achieve it from a people side. And that is, so that makes it pretty much how you use electricity, right? All of us use electricity in our businesses. If electricity is not there, a lot of us may not be able to even run our business. But do we have an electricity department? Do we think about hiring electricity managers because electricity is important? We never. Right? We sign up with the service provider. Service provider figures out which transformer to use, which cables to use, which engineer to hire. That's not our headache. We have to just plug and start. Right? So that was the thought when I said, so why not plug HR? If you can plug your business on electricity, why not HR? HR, incidentally, is also simpler than supplying electricity. So that was the thought. I met with a couple of HR heads to just get a sense, feel of how this whole thing is going to look like. All told me that it's not going to take off because HR is close to heart, it's too confidential, it's internal, etc., etc., whatever. Then I met 5 CEOs of the same HR heads. All 5 told me the day you are ready, we are ready. Right? So we will sign up. So I said, okay, so this is another proof of these 2 guys have no idea what's happening in each other's mind. So that was all the research that I did, and I said, okay, let's begin. That's a brief story of how Plug HR started. We currently manage about 110 companies on our platform in 13 cities in India. Starting from small, incubating companies at IIT Bombay, to large hospitals, ambulance services, educational institutions, NGOs, of course IT companies, services companies, right? Manufacturing companies. We are in locations like Cochin, we are in Ahmedabad, we are in Ankleshwar. Of course, bigger cities we are obviously there. So we are there in Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, more or less all cities are there. And it's a very simple product. We have a one-page sign-up form. Companies sign up that. We offer 3 rate plans. You can choose a rate plan that works for you, and you activate the service. and it runs as long as you want it to run. There are no locks, no fixed contracts, nothing. Use it as long as you want to use it. Shut the department when you don't want to use it. 45 days notice, exit anytime. Or in 30 days notice, switch between the plans. So you can change your rate plans. Like in SIM cards, right? When your usage goes up, you switch to a higher plan. Usage goes down, you switch to a lower plan. So you can switch to your HR department on whichever rate plan you want to work on. So it's full flexibility is available to entrepreneurs. Again, the idea was, how do we make it easy for entrepreneurs to get onboarded with HR? Because once you have 20 people, there's no other way. Right? The only other way is you decide not to scale. It's just becoming too difficult for you to scale. So that's a brief story of what we have done in Plug HR till now. So that's the client side of the story. Okay. There's another story in Plug HR, which is about why do people work with us. It has some relationship with the client story, but not every relationship with the client story. So why I'm saying this is because it doesn't matter that we are doing HR. If we were doing anything else, I still would have got these people, and they would have still worked. If I go to my people right now and tell them that we have changed the business, we will sell shoes from tomorrow, they'll be happy to do that. So team is here by virtue of something else. And what is that else is might be important sharing, because it's applicable across businesses. It is applicable across no matter what you do, right? Ability to be able to attract people and hold them is independent of business. There may be very peculiar businesses from now where the work conditions are very hostile, where it might affect what you do, where you are. So you may be working in a business which requires exposure to war-torn countries or epidemic-torn countries. Those can be different cases. But more or less, right? If you do few things right, it doesn't matter which business you are in. And what is the supply base? A lot of time I hear entrepreneurs talking about that I work in an industry where people are like this, and so that's why some of those things are not applicable here. So let me share things the way we did at Plug HR. It succeeded in our environment. That's why I thought it might be a good idea to share. Why do people work? So as an entrepreneur, there's a very different motivation that entrepreneur has, and there are different things which excite an entrepreneur. A lot of time we assume that those are the things which should excite anyone. And so when we deal with people who work for us and then we say that they are not motivated, we say, what kind of people are these? They don't get motivated by anything. And when we are saying anything, what we are basically saying that why is it that what motivates me doesn't motivate him? Right? So it's important to understand that difference, that what motivates an entrepreneur almost necessarily will not motivate a professional. Entrepreneurs are different kind, professionals are different kind. But it doesn't mean that professional cannot be motivated or a professional doesn't want to stay in a motivated state. There's no human being who wants to be in a demotivated state. That's not a natural state for a human being, right? Because that's not a happy state for a human being. Right? So a happy state for a human being is a motivated state. So if he is demotivated, there's a very high chance that you are the reason for that, right? And rather than then looking great into a detail, basically sidelining the issue as saying, oh, these guys don't get motivated with anything. So let's look at pizza business. As an entrepreneur, pizza business you're very excited with. This pizza excites you. Basically what excites you is there's so many people eating pizza and you see a lot of opportunity there. And you figured out there's a great way to do a sliced pizza. You figured out that there's an opportunity. A lot of times the size of the pizza is too large. That's not a natural consumption. People want to take only slice. Every time they order pizza, they want to say, is there someone to share this? So I can, it's like Bombay's cutting chai, right? The full chai is just too much. You don't, because you will have some 20 tea in the day, you don't want to have full teas. So you want cutting tea. So Bombay roadside vendor figured it out and he said, okay, I have a SKU which is cutting tea. Right, and so he's serving that. So you may realize that maybe cutting tea is a great idea. Now, how do you imagine that a professional who has spent almost all his father's money in getting educated and has gone to business schools and this and that will come out with an ambition to be working with a cutting tea service company? Right? It's very unlikely. It's very unlikely that what excites you is going to excite the professional. That was not his idea of a career. But does that mean that it's not possible to excite him? So what will excite a professional? What are the things that professionals look for? Do professionals look for a business plan? Do they? So how many professionals in Citibank or any other company would have walked up to their CEO and said, show me the business plan because I want to be motivated? Do they care? They don't care. Right? They don't care about. Do they want 3-year goals, plans? Anybody in the world who ever got motivated with targets? Or a performance management system? Or a policy? We have this policy manual now. Has that ever motivated anyone? Those are not things which motivate, right? So what motivates? Money. Yeah, money motivates, right? But money motivates as a last resort. If there's nothing else, you had nothing else to motivate, you will say, okay, take the money. It's like there's money lender, right? You have nothing to give, so you say, okay, now take my furniture only. Right? I have nothing to return to you. There's no cash, so take furniture, take my car, whatever is it, take. So offering money for motivation is actually like that. Saying that I don't have any other idea how to motivate. So money is the only thing. It's a dangerous game for an entrepreneur because there will come a time where you won't have that also. So and people will get used to whatever money you get. What do people look for? So let's look at our career aspirations. If we were into a career, what things will matter to us? Do we want a good workplace or a shoddy workplace? Or a bad workplace? We want a good workplace. As an entrepreneur, you want no workplace. You don't want rental bills at all. So, right, when you get rid of that office, entrepreneur is excited because he is, moved a cost item out. His eye is on balance sheet, right? His mind is straight running there, saying one cost item out. No office, no liability. So, it will excite an entrepreneur, but it may not excite an employee. The employee wants to see a workplace or work condition, right? Does hard work motivate people?
I think to some extent.
It does?
To some extent, yes.
I don't think so. Hard work.
Nobody wants to work. Man will lazy animal.
No, if the work is interesting, if you give them interesting work, they will be motivated.
Interesting. So that's a different thing. Hard work.
They will work hard also. You have to see what this person likes to do.
Right. But typically, hard work alone is not something people look for.
Yeah.
Right? It's a conditioned thought. We have, got conditioned where everyone right from childhood has been just telling us, you have to work hard to do things, you have to work hard, everyone works hard, everyone works, so it's basically more conditioning, we have to work hard. We always used to wonder that how is this the interesting thing to do, work hard, right? I want to sleep more, I want to eat more, I want to have more time for my friends, families, things like that. How can working hard be a great thing to do, right? So, interesting work is a different thing. So you have to add interest to that so that they don't feel that it's a hard work. But hard work is not interesting. You have to reduce the hardness of that work. You have to make it fun, make it easy, give them tools, improve their chances of success. Hard work by definition means that it's hard to achieve success in that. That's why it's hard, right? Otherwise you say we are doing easy work. Right? It's a hard work. Everyone hates hard work. Everyone wants easy work. Quick outcomes, high success, right? That's what. See, Sumit said Plug HR has been able to achieve, good upside in short time, right? I mean, I like it. Rather than saying that Plug HR took 50 years to get their first 20 customers, that was hard work. it wouldn't excite me. And I'd be quite sad at it. Right? So, it may be a ploy of words, it may be a ploy of positioning or whatever. What I'm saying is understanding what excites people or professionals is the first step to be able to devise things which they will be interested in. Right? You say come on time in the morning, 9 o'clock, sharp at 9 o'clock, sharp. What waits for you at 9 o'clock? So, suppose they come at 9 o'clock. Then what? What's so exciting about 9 o'clock? Which will not happen if they come at 9:15 for an example. What gets missed? Do they miss something? You miss something maybe. Right? Do they miss something?
The register.
Yeah?
The register only they are going to sign.
Yeah, yeah, so they're right. And chances are if they're well paid, right? So if you could tell me that you can come half day late every day and I'm going to deduct some salary out of it, I'll discount my salary by that much and I'll say, okay, chilled life now. I'll work half day every day. Right? Because they discount. What is it that they